Now we know, and if you don't know, you will now, that not all fat is created equal.
That is very true. Here with a lesson in healthy fats and the not healthy fats, we have Dr. Laura Christoph, Professor of Nutrition. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Always is. So we're starting off on this end over here talking about healthy fat because there is such a thing.
Yeah, so in the 80s and 90s, we really became fat phobic as a nation, and we all got fatter, right? So the obesity epidemic really increased. I know, it didn't work out for us. So lately, people have been really thinking about, okay, what are the different types of fat and how much of each do I need in my diet? So the recommendation is to have 20 to 35% of your total macronutrients each day be from fat. So that's a good percentage, but then there's all these choices about which ones to choose, right?
And it's a whole scale and spectrum.
Yeah, totally. So the one that we want to avoid totally, and I didn't even put any samples up here, is trans fat. So trans fat is our processed fat. You can find it on the food label. They always have to label whether there's trans fat. However, they don't need to label it if there's less than 0.5 grams of trans fat per serving. So another way to find trans fat on food is to look for hydrogenated oil. So that's another word that you can look at.
It's a red flag word that people need to look
Yeah,
at.
and it's usually highly processed things like Crisco oil and Twinkies, right? Next, we have cholesterol. So cholesterol isn't an essential nutrient. So cholesterol, we don't need to eat it. We can make our own cholesterol as long as we get enough fat in our diet. So foods that are pretty high in cholesterol includes shellfish as well as eggs, and it's just the yolk of the egg that has a lot of cholesterol. So, you know, having a couple eggs, you know, a few eggs a week is okay, but focusing on the whites a little bit more can be helpful to avoid the cholesterol.
But using that as a cornerstone of a healthy diet is where a lot of people falter, because if they say, all right, well, I'll have my egg omelets in the morning because I think you're getting a lot of protein, it's not good.
No, not for, you know, you don't want 4 eggs for breakfast, maybe 1 egg and 3 whites or something if you're looking for high protein.
Or load up on the vegetables if you're making a scramble or something.
Totally.
Like that.
Next we have saturated fat. That's another one that kind of controversial right now because studies are coming out saying maybe a little bit more saturated fat is okay than we originally thought. But right now the recommendation is to get less than 7% of saturated fat from total calories. So we find our saturated fat in animal products, so in dairy and in meat. So ways that you can monitor your saturated fat intake are, instead of, say, regular sausage, go for something like chicken sausage, which is a little lower in saturated fat. Instead of bacon, going for turkey bacon, or maybe just having 1 slice instead of 7, right?
Moderation.
Moderation.
That's my problem.
Yeah, and you can fit that into your diet. You know, you have 7% of total calories can come from saturated fat, but you just want to pick and choose where you're including it.
I'm going to choose all bacon for my 7%. Now, what do we have here? We have some nut butters and nuts.
Yeah, so here we have polyunsaturated fats, and this is the omega-6 polyunsaturated fat. We actually tend to get a little too much of these in our diet compared to the omega-3 fatty acids, which I'll talk about in a little while. So these are healthy, these are great to have, but we really want to monitor the ratio of omega-6s to omega-3s. So omega-6s are found in corn oil, soybean oil, and nuts and seeds.
Okay, now going down the line, we're getting healthier with our fats.
Yes, getting healthier. So the 2 types of fats we want to focus on are monounsaturated fats and omega-3. So that's where we want the majority of our fat efforts to go to. So monounsaturated fats are famous in the Mediterranean diet, you know, that has olive oil as a whole food group, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have olive oil, we have avocados, we have peanuts, and also canola oil. All of those are really high in monounsaturated fats. Those have been shown to decrease the risk of heart disease and increase our healthy cholesterol in our blood. And then lastly over here we have our omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids aren't found naturally in too many sources, so that we typically think of omega-3s as being found in fish oil. So when we say fish oil, that can be fish, but you need to make sure that it's fatty fish. So salmon, mackerel, tuna, shark is high in omega-3s.
Shark oil?
Shark oil, or just eating shark.
Or like snagging a shark burger.
Yeah, shark burger.
So if you don't eat fish, you could just take a supplement, fish oil supplement, and that will help you get your omega-3s.
Yeah, and another way to do it too is to have walnuts, flaxseed, chia seeds, things like that. The problem with the plant oils as omega-3 fatty acids is they're not in the usable forms. People might have heard the 2 words EPA and DHA. That's what you want to focus on when you're consuming the omega-3 fatty acids. Those are in the forms that can be used in our brain and our blood really well, and they help to decrease inflammation, which is a major contributor to cancers and cardiovascular disease.
This is a lot of information, but the nice part is you also gave us a great description of everything. So if you go to mymassappeal.com, it's all going to be there in greater detail. And later in the show, we're going to be talking about proteins, right?
Protein 101. Yes, how we can get it into our diet. Thanks so much, Dr. Christoph.
Thank you.